And so French for All was a program that President Emmanuel Macron introduced in 2022. There's 4 different programs. I'm going to talk about 2 of them. But basically, the French for All initiative cultivates and encourages and develops access to French language instruction from kindergarten through higher education. And there's a lot of different facets of this. But one of the facets is the French Dual Language Fund. So this has particular to do with the number of dual language programs in the US. And since 2017, there have been an increase. It has been increased over 20% of the number of French dual language programs in the US. So now I have a statistic of there being about 200 as of 2017. That might have changed even since then. And then additionally, there's also the French Heritage Language Program grant. That is geared more towards people, high schoolers, who have recently immigrated to the United States to help them use the French they know. It often is targeted to students from a background from West Africa or the French Caribbean, but helping them use their French in programs like AP classes, college preparatory courses, and programs in the arts. So that's geared a lot towards native and heritage speakers as well. And I also saw this other program called FLAM, the After School French Programs for Native Speakers. So this has more to do with after school programs, summer camps, and other culture activities to give native French and Francophone children in the US the chance to have more exposure and use of French. It ranges from pre-kindergarten through high school, those levels. And then I found just a couple more things having to do with New York State and New York City in particular. And I am from New York State, although I'm from New York, Western New York, south of Buffalo. So I know some of the schools in my area are instituting this and developing this. I think it's a great program. The New York State Seal of Biliteracy. So this is a certificate the students can earn in high school, recognizing them for their achievement, not only in English, but another language. So it has a lot to do with developing French, Spanish, and any other languages, their knowledge at the high school level, they can use to kind of springboard with that onto the college level in many cases. Also, I found this program called Language Access for All. So this is from 2021, a couple of years ago, but it was basically when New York City invested about $4 million into language access measures to improve the city's communication with multilingual families and students with limited English proficiency. So those are just a couple examples of programs that I found. I'm sure there are several others.
More, yes, and how to invest into language programs to develop the skills. And this will get a job, right? In the end, you've looked at students working abroad, Sergio. So I'm sure that learning languages is still valid to get a job even abroad.
Definitely. So it's both ways. It connects to what I just said earlier about studying abroad. So then the students come back, and what happens is that then come to us and say, hey, I would like to teach English abroad when I graduate, right? And we have more and more students who, the Spanish government has this program that basically encourages graduates from US, UK, also Australia to go to Spain, and they can spend up to 3 years teaching English in schools all over Spain, primary, middle school, high school. And what we find is that will open up new doors for them for internships and to find other jobs then later on in Spain. Or when they come back, because some of them come back, we are still in touch with these alumni, and they mention that that's definitely like a big thing. They have a big advantage for them to come back here, be able to find a job, because they won't only have the linguistic skills, they won't have just those cultural gains, but they will also bring that whole experience working abroad. And as I mentioned earlier, that they become more global citizens when they study abroad, but something they actually have when they work abroad is the independence, When they study abroad, they are more, I would say, guided by the university. They have all of the university resources to get a visa, to find accommodation, housing, etc. When they graduate and they go work abroad, they are pretty much on their own. So for like everything. And also they will have to spend more time practicing Spanish and interacting with the locals when they are working and teaching English in Spanish schools with the rest of Spanish teachers than when they are studying abroad, where that's a bit harder because they will spend more time with other US students. But yeah, they definitely bring that great advantage when they work abroad. They come back and it will be easier for them.
Since we have two school principals in the room, and many more maybe back there, but I hear leadership skills are a necessary, if not obligatory component now. Run us through what this means to be a global leader, to gain those leadership skills at school, from school, all the way up.
Mm-hmm. So what is leadership? I guess that's the first question, maybe. Leadership is the capacity to influence others to achieve a certain goal. And that's an important skill in life. Everyone should learn to be a leader, but also learn to be a follower. Right now, you're a leader. You're leading this conversation. I'm a follower. I answer your question, and that's good. I need to be a follower sometimes. I need to be a leader sometimes as a principal. And I think everyone should learn to do that. That's necessary, and how we do that with students is exposing them to different kind of experiences where they could actually be both. Leading is about having ideas. It's about communicating the ideas that we have, the things that we believe in. It's about creating the conditions upon which these ideas could actually live and be achieved, working with others, inspiring others, organizing environments so these ideas could percolate, and creating the conditions upon which we could actually achieve those ideas. And that's actually not easy to do, but students will have, since maternelle, second grade, university, and then their first professional experiences, they will have opportunities to do that, but only if we create the opportunities, we create the experiences. So project-based learning, for instance, is one opportunity for students to engage in cooperation with others, to have some choice, to be able to exercise some choices, to choose what they want to work on, how they want to present their work, they want to choose a product, they want to engage with, real work experiences. And I think that's very key when it comes to building leadership. I think working with others is key. Again, being able to collaborate, to communicate efficiently, to be able to persuade others, but also listen to others. Not listen to respond, but listen to understand and to try to find a compromise. So project-based learning is one. Having opportunities for pure leadership is another one. Being a student rep, a student representative, either in the classroom or outside of the classroom, being an eco-delegate, working on specific projects with the school, maybe with outside of an organization to solve problems, particularly real world problems. If students do that year after year, again and again and again, they will develop three core things. They will have confidence in themselves. They will start believing that they could achieve things and do things, and that's key in leadership. They will have self-efficacy. They will know that they have the capacity to influence things, and they will have agency. They will also have this capacity to exercise change. And this is what we need from global leaders. And we need to start from the local. We do that in the classroom, we do that in the school. We start outside of the school, collaborating with non-profit organizations outside to solve local problems about the environment, about poverty, about things, to create communication campaigns and so on and so forth. And then we enlarge the scale to the national and then to the global. And that's how we create global leaders. Everyone has something they believe in, a passion, and that's where leadership lies. And we can exercise them by giving students the self-efficacy and the agency to take those on and just go out there and do things.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that. I think there is also, and I'm going to look at it through the lens of the impact that AI is going to have on the humanity, and also specifically on education. I strongly believe that those qualities, or attributes, those skills that the students need to develop, where today you are talking about the soft skills of yesterday are going to be the core skill of tomorrow. Our relationship with knowledge is going to be very different. we will need to demonstrate more of those attributes rather than to know something. And so the focus, rather than today when we learn, and the IB is doing that pretty well, and the IB learner profile, those attributes that we want our student to be able to develop, it's here to allow the student to be a good learner in mathematics, in humanity, etc. I believe possibly that tomorrow the mathematics, humanity, literacy will be here also to contribute to the development of those skills. So it's a shift, it's a different perspective that we need to have. The other thing also in what Mehdi shared is very interesting, and that is what school can do really well. But there is something that schools are not doing really well, and there is an organization, I'm going to talk about this organization very briefly, in Europe. It's Beyond Education, and I look at assessing those competencies. We're not really good to assess those competencies. And so they develop a framework. They look at some very specific competencies I'm going to share with you. There are some skills: creativity, collaboration, communication, critical thinking, solving problems. They look at it through the lens of sort of a world that will be impacted by artificial intelligence. They look at the character. Leadership is one of them. Mindfulness, ethics, resilience, courage, curiosity, and the meta-learning, growth mindset, metacognition. So a lot of things that also maybe you've seen here. But they develop also a framework that allow the student in middle school and high school to be able to assess it. They allow also the school to be able to have a picture of how we're doing on those competencies. Because if we are not able to assess those competencies that are tomorrow are going to be the most critical one, that means that we might not be able to be successful.
I'm looking at our time. What is it? Oh, we're getting the signs. All right. Looks like we've used up our time. But thank you very much. Again, this book is available downstairs at the Calic table. It's officially being released on January 1st.
Wow. Okay.
But so you're getting a preview, and then thank you to the authors who traveled all the way to New York City to speak to you. And
See you.
yes, see you. Next speaker